I want to get right into this. I don't want to waste any time. For those that come on here later, please watch this over. But I'm just finishing my run, all right? Just getting out here in nature. As always, protect your peace, nature heals. As always, it all starts with you. And there are a few things that were on my heart as I was running that I want to share with you. And I titled this, Stop Selling for Less in Your Life. That means different things for everybody on here, right? Some of us, we're selling for less in certain areas of our life. And I always say this, you know this, settling leads to suffering. But this is what I want to tell you, because some of us are going through a hard time. We're going through a hard season. We're going through whatever as if it lasts forever. And I want to say this, yes, moments happen, seasons happen, but how we respond to those things determines how long those things last in our life. And so I want to just tell you this and remind you of this, right? The sun will shine, okay? And the storms will come. I want you to understand that the sun will shine and the storms will come. Some of you might be like, Trent, what are you talking about? What I mean by that is that you're going to have good times, bad times. You're going to have easy times, you're going to have hard times. You're going to go through great things, you're going to go through miserable things in your life. It's going to happen. It's a part of life. The storms are going to come. But how you respond to the storm, how you allow the storm to control you is up to you. Some of us, we're so afraid to go through these storms. We're so afraid to admit that we have storms in our life. It makes you human. It's okay to go through these things. But what's not okay is to stay there. The sun will shine. No storm lasts forever. No sun lasts forever. But you have to make up in your mind what you're going to do with your life. You got to make up in your mind. You might have lost somebody. Somebody might have walked out of your life. You might have lost your job. You might have lost a parent. You might have lost a kid. You might have lost a spouse. You might have lost friends. You might have lost all these things in your life. Some might have failed. Some of you, your investment that you made might have fell through. The house that you want might have got foreclosed on, or something happened in your life. You're struggling in school. You have to make up in your mind, though, how you're going to respond. Are you going to allow these things to define the rest of your life? Are you going to allow this storm to grow something in your life that the sun couldn't have grew? Because the truth about life is that we are going to go through our storms. The sun will shine and the storms will come. And I want to tell you this as I was running today and this thought went through my head. A lot of us, as we're trying to move on, as we're trying to move forward, as we're trying to move through, a lot of us, we're turning the page. And I understand that. You know, turning the page is such a beautiful thing in life when we can turn the page and move on to our next chapter. When we can turn the page and move on to our new beginning. When we can turn the page and start something new. But as I was running, I say, you know what? It has to be deeper than turning the page sometimes. Because turning the page means that that page still exists in your story. Turn the page means that that page is still there in your past. And I understand we can't just get rid of things in our life, but there's some things in our life that we don't need to turn the page. We need to rip the page out. Because some of us have turned the page, and when it got hard, we went back to that page. We went back to that person. We went back to that habit. We went back to that mindset because it was convenient, because it was easy. But some of us watching this right now, you can't turn the page. You have to rip that page out. That page can no longer be a part of your life. That page can no longer be a part of the book of your life. That page can no longer be in your life. Some of us, we need to rip it out because that's a more powerful thing to do. Don't just turn the page, rip the page out and move forward with your life. Move on with your life. And I'm not talking about just relationships. I'm talking about your life. Some of us, we're holding on to a dream that's been expired. And I know it seems crazy to say that because ultimately, there's no end time for certain dreams, right? But yes, there are certain things that we're still holding on to that wasn't meant for our life, that we're trying to force in our life. And we need to rip that page out of our life. I want to tell you this, that some of us on this live, we're waiting for somebody to show up for our life. We're waiting for somebody to do something for our life. We're waiting for the perfect time. We're waiting for the sun to come in the middle of our storm. We're waiting for the storm to end, to begin. We're waiting for the perfect conditions to start. And I want to tell you right now, when you're serious about change, I want to tell you right now, when you're serious about growth, I want to tell you right now, when you have to make something happen for your life, you got to stop waiting. You got to start creating. You can't wait for the storm to end. You can't wait for the opportunity to come. You can't wait for the forgiveness to show up. You can't wait for the closure. You have to create your own closure in your life, because this life is not promised. And some of us, a lot of us on this live, and I pray after this live it changes, but so many of us, we have spent our whole entire life waiting on something that we can create ourselves. You're waiting for the storm to end. I'm going to tell you right now, one of the most powerful things that you can do is learn how to dance in the storm. Learn how to dance in the rain. And realize to say, I'm going to allow this rain to grow something in my life. In this season in my life. Some of us are waiting for the skies to clear up for us to show up. And I get you, man. I know it's hard to dance in the rain. I know it's hard to see things are happening for your life when everything's happening to your life. I get it. But I need you today to become your own hero. I need you today to become your inspiration. You know, I asked about 15 to 20 people the other day. I asked them to name their biggest inspirations in their life. And there was a lot of common things that people said. My dad, my mom, my teacher. Some people said me. But there was one common thing that everybody had out of 20 people. Out of all the people that they named inspirations in their life, they didn't name themselves. Out of all the people, they didn't name themselves. And I want to tell you right now, as I leave here today, that if you truly want your life to change for the better, whatever that means to you in this moment, in this season in your life, you got to become your own inspiration. Doesn't mean that you can't have other inspirations. I have a lot in my life, but I'll tell you one thing. Every time I look in the mirror, I know that person I stare in the mirror every single morning is the person that's responsible for what I do in my life. There's a lot of influences that influence my life, a lot of things, a lot of people, but ultimately at the end of the day, the person, that the man or the woman in the mirror that you look at determines where you go or where you stay. Determines what stays stagnant and what progresses in your life. And you realize, and I realize this, that I'm my biggest inspiration. I'm the hero in my life, just like you. But some of us, we play this villain in our life. Some of us, we played the biggest roadblock in our life. Some of us, we played the biggest enemy in our life, and it's time to stop. You got to be your own hero. Because if you want anything to change, man, it don't change without your permission. It don't change without your action. No matter how much I talk to you right now and say, Trent, you're an inspiration to me, doesn't mean nothing if you don't do nothing with it. Just as Snoop Dogg had on his speech where he thanked themselves and people thought he was conceited, I thought that was beautiful. It wasn't conceited. He thanked the person that was responsible for his change and his growth, that were responsible for getting out the bed every single morning. Of course, he had a lot of people that helped him. But it was one person that did it. That was him. And it's the same with you. The person I'm going to congratulate most on my fitness journey is myself. Because nobody's out here running miles with me. Nobody's, stopping or putting things in what I'm eating. Nobody's doing that. Nobody's holding me accountable. People holding me accountable, but at the end of the day, no matter how much you hold me accountable, I have to hold myself accountable the most. So my question to you as I leave here today, my friends, my question to you today as I leave here today is, when are you going to start showing up for you? The perfect time that exists is right now, man. Don't wait for the clouds to clear for you to show up. Learn how to dance in the rain and allow what's trying to use you. You use it for your good. Like I say at the end of every single video, it all starts with you. I know it's hard, man. I know it's hard to ask for help. I know it's hard but guess what, man? The pain that you feel right now, and I hate to say this, but it's true. I got to be real with y'all and straight up. The pain that you feel right now, you know what got me out of my pain this past year? And I'll leave with this, is realizing that I was going to stay in this pain for the rest of my life if I didn't make a change. If I didn't make a change, I had to accept some things would never be the same. And even though that was hard to accept, I had to accept those things in order for me to move on with my life and move forward with my life. And it freaking scared me when I thought that, dang, I'm going to live the rest of my life like this. And the truth is, Some of you, if you don't decide to ask for help, if you don't decide to be your own inspiration, if you don't decide to play the role of the hero in your life, then what you feel right now is what you're going to continue to experience for the rest of your life. And I hate to say that, but I got to be real with you. So I know it's hard, but you know what's harder? Accepting less and settling for less for the rest of your life. There's a greater version of yourself. You are purpose. It's a greater version of yourself that's dying to meet you. And the only person that can make that introduction is you. I love you. Let's get it.